Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is kind of a vlogish style. We're gonna go see Brandon Bartron. He's like 150, 160 cars, a lot of luxury. This guy's crazy, he has a huge operation. We'd normally take that little scoot right there, call it the egg. It's a little Ford C-Max, makes us like 1,100 bucks a month. But when it's not being rented out, I just love driving that thing, it's sweet. Today we're gonna take the Q7. I got all the gear as you can see. We're shooting on a couple cameras, got some tripods we're gonna use. Should be pretty good. I think we're gonna take a look at his operation and then we're going to probably look around his warehouse. I mean, there's some pretty cool cars. And one of the cool things I like about his operation is right when you walk in, like the waiting area is super, super nice. It's definitely something that most Turo hosts, like literally no Turo hosts have something like that. It's usually like, come to my house, or for us, come to our little office, but when you go in, there's no customer experience quite like his. I mean, he has a really nice setup. So let's jump in the car and let's drive over there. All right, so I just looked up America's Motors. It's Brandon's place. This is how you know a Turo or car rental operation is legit. They have something on Google Maps. Like if you get this set up, this is sweet. Because when somebody looks up, okay, car rental's near me, you have something that people can actually look at, go to, call. That's just another way where people can funnel into either your website or your phone number to get more leads. I think that's probably the big difference between just like an average hobby host and like somebody actually building an operation, is the funnels, systems, and just how like creative they're getting with outreach. Like people will just have their Turo account and they'll say, okay, well, I'm just gonna get leads and whatever, my system's gonna be what it is. They're never trying to adapt and improve, but if you can continually adapt and improve, like you're gonna be places. I promise you. That's part of this business. That's part of the game, is like continually adapting and just trying to be the best and always improving. Never stop improving. That's what I'm always trying to do. Just striving for the best. All right, so just made it to Brandon's place. He has a pretty sweet setup. You have like a line of cars right here that are for pickup, drop off, Turo Go, so people can just kind of come and go as they want. Also up here, you'll see in a second, there's a lock box for keys, a key drop. So people can just come and put their keys in, which is huge, because most places like somebody has to meet you or something has to happen. But here when you have something like that, that's huge. And then of course you have the America's Motors sign. Take a look at that on the building. And that obviously that's obviously something that most places don't have. All right, so we're in Brandon's warehouse right now. As you can see, just so many cars, and he has such a crazy selection. One car that he has a ton of in particular, I don't know if you've seen his videos or not, but the Fiat 500s, last time I talked to him, he had 50 Fiat 500s. That's crazy. And there's another one right here. And I mean, I guess ROI and cost for getting them is just crazy cheap. As you can see, American flag, this is like their staple in all the backgrounds on all their cars for the most part. They have this background, which is cool because it creates brand recognition. So people are like, okay, I know who this is. I've rented from them before. I want to rent from them again. Because when you get on Turo, there's just so many cars, and there's not a lot of differentiation between them unless you do something to stand out like that. But he has some crazy cars for sure. He has a Huracan, he has a 488, he has a Corvette C8 that they just got in, Bentley, a couple Teslas I see, their G-Wagon, their G63 AMG, that's a cool car. And then i8. Yeah, they have a really cool selection. And I'm curious, I guess I'm gonna ask him the difference between like a luxury car versus a Fiat 500. And I know that obviously Huracan will make more money, but of course there's ROI, there's maintenance, there's a lot of factors that have to be taken into consideration when you look at the two. So I wonder how big of a difference they are. And maybe one's more of a hassle than the other, but you know, that's a good question to ask, luxury versus economy. Looks like they're doing a little engine swap on this Camaro, maybe engine blue or something. I'm gonna have to ask the story on this. Cars are tough. I mean, that's the one thing when you look at like real estate versus cars, maintenance. Like you'll fix something in a house and it lasts a very, very long time, but when you fix something in a car, something else can go bad pretty quickly, and usage can tear things up. There's so many factors, and just they can be so unreliable if you buy the wrong ones. And I always tell people there's a lot of factors when you buy a car. Maintenance is huge. You want to make sure that they don't have a ton of maintenance when you're looking at buying a vehicle. You want to make sure that the cost for the maintenance isn't huge, because if you buy a car that has like double the cost of maintenance but the same price, make the same amount of money, like you don't want to buy the car that has twice the cost of maintenance. And I know people get excited because they hear like Mercedes or BMW with these nice car names and like, oh, I really, really want that. But they don't think about those things. They think about the front excitement, you know, this is going to be sick, I'm going to look so cool in this, but they don't look at the back end of this is going to cost me a lot of money, a lot more than a similar car that's going to make me the same amount of money. So it's just something you got to think about. And Brandon's doing it right though. He has his own mechanic and shop, which means he can get his stuff done stat. And that's another big differentiator between him and a lot of Turo hosts. They either do it themselves or they take it to a shop. In the shop, you're at their will. They can take a month, they could take a week, they could take 6 months. I mean, it's tough. And if they get really busy at the shop, maybe you're last in line. But here, you can get his stuff done as quickly as they need to. If they got a reservation next day, depending on what it is, they can get it out. But some shops may not be able to do that. So that's huge. With scale comes a lot of flexibility and abilities to do things right. With smaller businesses, like I guess for ours, for example, we don't have that ability yet, but of course we want to work towards it. All right, so we're here with Brandon right now. We're in his warehouse and we're in between all these cool cars. And I guess the big question I had for you is, what do you see the biggest difference between like a luxury car, like a Lamborghini, and a Fiat 500?
Oh man, where to start? Like, I love all these like, this is like some of the common questions because we're pretty known for like doing some things in the Turo space, and people ask these vague questions, and it's just so hard to like give you a straightforward answer in a couple of minutes. Really, you've got to look at so many different things. You know, some people think, oh, with a Huracan, you're gonna make so much money, you know, because I've said on multiple videos I've made 25 grand in a single month with a Huracan. But what they don't hear a lot of times is you don't see it in here, and it's not because it's rented out, it's because it's been in service for over a month. You know, and parts are expensive, they take forever. You know, you still got to pay your car notes, and even if you don't have a car note, it's still depreciating, right? That money, there's always costs of money out there. And so those are what I like to call in our industry the elephants. And I would say don't start off with any elephants. Stack up a bunch of rabbits that are just going to consistently go out there every single day and make you money. Like when you get into economy cars, which we know are just the go-tos, you're looking at utilization rates of 70%, and those are really what you want to use to create your base. And then when you get to a certain point, venture off, try an exotic. Before you do though, those are the ones where do not get an exotic until you do some really good research. You have to. Because I've gotten a couple that I'm like, oh, why did I do this? Why did I do this? And it's not a couple $1,000 mistake sometimes, it's like tens of thousands of dollars.
And it's usually a percentage mistake, but the percentage is probably similar amount, but it's a lot more expensive in money. So if you were to buy another, let's say luxury car, what would you buy?
I'm really liking, we were talking about today on the podcast, first podcast ever having you on, it was great. And we were talking about Audi SUVs. The most searched vehicle on Turo is SUVs. And Audi makes a phenomenal SUV. I know you like Atlases, but with Audi, you've got the luxury, you've got all-wheel drive, you've got Apple CarPlay, you've got leather, you've got a lot of the boxes that people are checking when they're going to get a car. And sometimes we forget as Turo hosts that we got to put ourselves in the guest's shoes. What are they gonna go do while they're here? You know, or like, what is there some sort of monument, or is there a lake or a beach, or what? We play our extras into that. We play our vehicles into that.
That's huge.
For us, we got a lot of sunshine here, right? So get some cars that are convertible. They got a nice T-top on it or something. Those are cars that people are going to like.
So tell us about where you at this month as far as revenue.
So we just started our peak season here in Arizona, and we are 3/4 of the way into the month. We're at $225,000.
Holy crap.
And we still got another week left. So those months are great. Those are the months you really want to stack it up. And you also want to know, to this point, what is my slow season in my area, right? And you want to make sure that you've got some cheese stacked up for that slow season, because you could end up negative cash flowing those months. You just got to hold on.
What are you looking like for the year? Do you know what you're roughly going to gross?
So we are at 1.6 million for the year. And I don't do private rentals like you. He's going to coach me on that. We'll get there. And we're hoping to do over 2 million this year.
Jeez.
And so far in Turo, we've done over 4 million, close to 5 million.
Dude, that's crazy. And what about March is the month?
Yeah.
If you were to just take a guess, what do you think March is going to look like?
Gosh, my last March was when our prior record of 200.
Yeah.
But at that time, we only had like 120 cars.
Whoa.
And now we have 160. By March, we're hoping to have 200. So we could hit 400,000.
Dude, that is crazy. That is going to be, that's where you stack up the bread right there. You stack it up, hold your nut for the winner. Yeah, that's crazy. And then you're just going to keep scaling.
Yeah, I mean, look, the goal as a Turo host is to find out what sort of margin you can make on a car, and then to figure out how you can expand that into multiples. Like, if you made $200 on a car, that's not going to pay the mortgage, right? That's not going to, like, that's not the point of what people doing Turo should look at. You should be looking at, okay, how do I create a concept, a process that can make me X amount of dollars, then how can I just pour some gasoline on that and light it on fire? And I did that in my prior business. I grew an 8-figure business from knocking on doors, selling security.
That's crazy.
And the only reason I was able to turn it into a massive business was because I was like, okay, where's the next office? How do we do the next office? How do we recruit more people? How do we grow this? How do we get more cars? This is the mindset of a successful Turo host. You get it, I get it. Like, this is where we're at now. I'm not thinking about how to maintain that. I'm thinking about how I can create systems and tools that are going to support the next level that I want to get into.
Yeah, I think that's so big for success is drive. Like that's like the base layer. You have, if you want to get to your level and beyond, you have to have insane drive. Because if you don't, you're going to get to 10, 15 cars, be like, all right, we did it. This is paying off my mortgage and maybe a little bit. And like, I'm happy. But if you want to get to the next level, you need to be so driven and so innovative. And most people aren't.
You can take a minimum wage mindset to Turo and end up making a minimum wage. All right. So I did a speech at a leadership group this past weekend for the Iron Cowboy. He did his first Iron Grit experience in Kanab, Utah. Cool. And what I told him was, stop trading time for money. This is the problem that a lot of us make. We get into this routine of trading time for money. What we really need to do is trade time for momentum. All right. So yeah, you need money, you need to pay the bills, but have your thoughts looking on, okay, how do I create some momentum in this? And that's what I've been able to do here. And I think that's, you know, one of the biggest things and why we created these courses is so that, you know, I'm not saying I do everything perfect. Like, that's what's so cool about us is we love to just share the things that we screw up on so that we can be better. And I think if our whole community did that, we would all rise together. Yeah,
100%. But your thoughts, momentum, you're right. A lot of people do just trade time for money because they're not willing to substitute. So put people in place. I mean, without putting people in place or having the right systems, you're capped. You're always going to be capped. But the goal is to find ways to lift that cap or get rid of the cap altogether.
The concept in this is called buying back your time. So every host is going to get to a point to where you can't do it yourself, all right? And I hear a lot of background noise. This is what happens when you're in an active 150 car Turo warehouse. But you want to buy back your time. So when you get to that first bubble of I can't manage any more cars, you're at that crossroads where you got to figure out a way to buy back your time. So there's a book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time. I recommend you check that out.
I'm about to look into that.
Yeah, it's good.
Any other words of wisdom for people watching?
Yeah, you want to go in the, let's go in the, let's go check out the lobby.
I will say the lobby, I mean, everything you have set up is so different from any other host. Like I haven't seen any other host with a setup like this. I mean, it's so customer inviting. The lockbox, the lobby, nobody has that. I mean, it's either at their house, which is fine. I mean, you know, you got a couple cars or something, but when you build a business and you want to become successful.
Well, look, our edge as Turo hosts is the experience, right? Really what's going to happen in the customer's head is they know what the rental car experience is like at Hertz. We all know what that experience is like. They're going to come here and that's what it's going to be compared to. And they're either going to go, dang, I'm never going to Hertz again. Or they're going to go, oh yeah, Turo, that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. So with us, and the reason why we have, you know, 1,400 reviews with a 5-star rating on Google, 5-star on Turo, is we're obsessed with the customer experience, giving them that good quality experience. Then you get repeat renters, you get people that enjoy the platform. I don't know if you watch this, but I noticed that a lot of our bookings are first-time renters. and Turo is starting to get out there. So I think it's a big opportunity for people to get into a space that is about to explode.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And if you can give them that customer experience, we can all grow together.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, man.
Always good to see you.
See you on the next podcast.
That's right.